Hello there and welcome, folks, to the ARM podcast and YouTube channel. I am really honored to welcome back to ARM for the first time, Judge Jay Young. Judge, so good to have you back.
Hey, it's great to be back. I can't wait to rejoin the team, get the band back together.
Yeah, this is an anomaly for us. So for those of you that don't know, and I'm sure everybody does, Judge Young was obviously not a judge yet when he first joined the ARM panel. And then he took a sabbatical to be a judge and wear the robe. And now he's back as a retired judge. So we're super happy to have you back. And so let's just get right into it. The experience of being a judge, how was that experience, and what perspective did that give you, which you may have not had previously as a litigator?
Yeah, as a neutral, doing lots of arbitrations over the years, you certainly get a chance to see that end of things. But the day in, the day out, the grind of things, seeing what is more persuasive, the different perspective on the litigation process for sure. It now allows me to speak to litigants more intelligently, I think, on the risks of litigation, the risks that are unique, the personalities of sitting judges, and discuss how a particular jurist might feel about a position that they're taking, and hopefully speak with some authority regarding some of those matters.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's more intelligent, because I'm sure you're always super intelligent. It's just when you say one thing, having worn the robe, it kind of carries a different weight than when you said the same thing without it, I'm sure. I'm sure you've seen that effect.
Right.
But so tell me, what is it about ADR, again, coming off the bench now, that particularly excites you and makes you, I think so good at it, and something that you want to pursue in the private sector?
I go back to an early learning experience that I had as a new mediator, where I really learned that my job was to find hope for a resolution, even when the parties can't find that hope themselves. And having been mired in discovery disputes in the last couple of years, there are a few places with less hope than discovery disputes, I think, at times. But I had a father-daughter dispute. Business dispute. They'd been in the lawsuit for about 4 years in the litigation, and in the meantime, the daughter had a child of her own, and because of the lawsuit, the father had never met his grandchild.
Wow.
And we came to mediation, and it was apparent that we were not going to resolve the business dispute unless we resolved the family dispute, and vice versa. And so took a bit of a chance and asked, how, if we could settle this, how would that change your family? And the father, through tears, said I would have my daughter back, and I would be able to hug my grandchild. And the daughter said I would have my dad back. And that possibility, that just the hope that came into their minds at that time, eventually, after lots of wrangling, led to a business dispute. They literally hugged it out after we came to a resolution, and invited me to a family reunion in Michigan a couple of months later. And it really spoke to my heart about this idea of granting permission to hope that we can come to a resolution. And I'm excited to get back into the business of hoping.
What really is fascinating about that story is that it's a heartwarming story, which I love, but I think, from an ADR perspective, an angle beyond the emotions of what you just said, what I love about that is that you took a very creative route outside the box, and you dared to kind of tread a very delicate line in a very subtle manner in order to use that, additional information and creativity to get the business and the legal aspect done. And you just happen to get a twosie and get them back together as a family as well. And that's exactly what we talk about when we're talking about creative problem solving and thinking outside the box. That's a phenomenal example of it. And I mean, that's great. No one's actually ever given me an example of that. And that was a really, really good example.
Thank you.
And that's a really good transition to the last part of this kind of, interview back now that you coming again from the bench. I think we've all known, even before you were a judge, what a great mediator you are, and you just exemplified it through the story that you just told. But I think do you feel like you're uniquely positioned, you know, to work in the ADR sector beyond just mediations, for example, now that you have been a judge?
Absolutely. In addition to the mediation work, of course, I've been appointed in hundreds and hundreds of arbitrations, ranging in, you know, hundreds of millions to $20,000 dispute.
Those are sometimes harder. Those are sometimes
they are definitely harder to settle in a mediation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the unique perspective that you have as somebody who has deeply studied issues in the law more deeply than you would as a practitioner, and made decisions and have to make a decision every day as part of your job. It makes you more comfortable doing that and weighing the evidence that's in front of you, and as well as the testimony in front of you as well. So I think I'm uniquely positioned to be able to help not only in the mediation world, but in the arbitration world as well.
And special master. I mean, like, I mean, in the special master world, I mean, like the scope of work can be so varied, right? Like, I mean, a large portion of special master work is discovery disputes, and a large portion of what you were doing on the bench was regarding that. And of course, obviously, you know, overseeing, you know, motion practice and, you know, giving dispositive rulings as, you know, reports and recommendations to the, you know, to the sitting judges. So I think, you know, you're as well-rounded as anyone I have ever seen. I mean, I really, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much, Judge Young. I mean, for those of you who don't know, Judge Young is an absolute all-star. I mean, he's, you know, over 30 years of litigation experience at the highest level in the complex realm. You've got him now as a judge, a scholar, author, general nice guy, and like, I don't know anyone that's ever said a bad word about Judge Young. Total star, available at ARM, and we are so happy to have you back.
Thanks, Abbas. Always good to speak with you, sir.
You too.
Take care.